Greetings, 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 family. We are YAAD Radio. Give thanks for joining us today, April 3rd, 2026. I am Dreadlocks, the article Dreadlocks, coming to you with a special broadcast in partnership with the D.A.R.C Foundation. The D.A.R.C Foundation is the Diaspora African Rastafari Congress. And I is YAAD Radio, the online community radio.
Son of King Solomon.
As stated, today is April 3rd, 2026. And we're commemorating the 63rd anniversary of the Coral Gardens Massacre.
Men and brethren,
today's reasoning is around just, Ivar in that time where Rastafari went through great tribulation in this land, Jamaica.
David, the prophet.
I want to acknowledge all the ones them in the diaspora tuned into YAAD Radio. So we're starting off today's broadcast with some bingy, burning Vatican itinerary.
Through his lineage,
today's broadcast will be brought to you again by D.A.R.C Foundation. This is a partnered broadcast. We'll have some guests by phone coming through to hold a reason with I and I. So we just full courage ones and ones to just get comfortable wherever the eye is. Go and give thanks to the Coral Gardens Benevolent Society for just sealing up their event. In Albion, Montego Bay.
Revelation 5 declare.
So we just go and chant some bingy as we welcome the ones them. Share the link, share the link, share the link. This is YAAD Radio.
There was none found worthy to walk the 7 seas. No man in heaven, neither above the heavens. No one under the earth, nor up on the earth, did found worthy. Here till I see the man who walked the 7 seas. Yes, he was found worthy. Worthy is the Lamb that sits upon the throne of David. Revelation declare it, 17. And his title, King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Isaiah 43 declare. I am he, and there is none beside me. tell the Henny after high. The Rastafari, the only father and mother. High and I turn aside from everything that we I gave easy for thy ransom. Hit the whole chance. You are my witnesses to prove and to know. I am your creator, your king, the holy one of Israel. Yes, God. Bring my son from far.
I Rasta, in truth and righteousness, is in our ear giving reverence. And I tried with an undefeated genealogy. It is written chronologically. Such history is based upon a fundamental background, as even the prophet Marcus Garvey had prophesied as African fundamentalism. And our cause in America at this time is to bring forth our people, which was robbed by our slave masters back from the 18th and the 17th centuries. And we come now to redeem them through the power of His Imperial Majesty, Emperor Haile Selassie. And I, true just man, is in this country to see that all democracy and all demonical spirit that is in this world be completely destroyed down under our feet. Through His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie. He is the first creation birth from in centuries past. He is the foundation of creation. He is the Riftif Tafarai Buchananai, first name. He is now the precious ointment. He is the living and true King, creator, divine objectives of our present days, and will be forever and ever our King and Lord and Creator forever. All people, not Rastas alone. For the whites, for the blacks, and for the Indians, and for everyone that I know upon earth, His Majesty is their powerhouse. He is the King. He is the ruler. He is the divine objectives. And there is no other than He, Rastafari. Knowing that His Imperial Majesty, H.I.M., I have to worship Him in truth and righteousness. For He is no other name than that can secure man's subjection from sin and condemnation. So, and I represent our Father as Rasta. So, and I give in thanks annual for such fundamental reasoning that God had given unto I. True love, true word, true sound, true power. True earthquake, true lightning, true thunder. Storm, cyclone, tidal wave, and all tempestuous, roaring elements from creation to destroy the wicked nation and set Rastaman free for redemption, which is now. And I give thanks and praise for thy holiness unto eternity. Jah Rastafari, His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie, I stand first. Thankful in reverence every time.
Rasta high. I did a yasti high, who high. Yang side na yasti high, who. sheep heard the shepherd calling. I lead to the path of righteousness. The Rastafari thy shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to rest up in green pastures. He lead us by the river of righteousness by his name's sake. Though you walk through the valley of shadow of death, thou shalt not fear. I am high, and I am high, high, high. The sheep heard the shepherd calling. The Rastafari bring back his own. But there was 99 in the shepherd's stand. One stray and gone away. The sheep heard the shepherd say, come to Zion, come to Zion, everything is ready. Oh, blessed Redeemer, King Creator. The only human mechanic, the Almighty. The invisible, visible.
Yes, the significance of today's reasoning with I and I people is really the Coral Gardens Massacre. Again, give thanks for joining us here live on YAAD Radio, the community online radio, presenting to you topics, reasonings, groundings that will leave the eye empowered to move forward as African people in this time. Again, want to welcome all of the ones them in Jamaica in the diaspora for joining us. This is one of those days where I and I as Rastafari hold as one of those sacred days. Seeing? And we really want to acknowledge all of the ones them who, come forward and really organize themselves to be able to look at this day, a day in the history of Farai. Today, Rastafari and individuals worldwide really remember the 60 in the 63rd year since the Coral Gardens Massacre in Jamaica, which took place on Good Friday, again in 1963. Coral Gardens was home to a small-scale Rastafari farming operation in
Yeah,
Jamaica. Eli, greetings, Jabi.
yeah, me nah, yeah, you're right. Me
Yes,
nah
I.
hear you.
Yeah, man, right here, they are in
Okay,
perfect love, man. Seeing, want welcome,
Sebastian, man.
welcome online, Jabi from the Dark Foundation. As we
Dr.
get,
B.
yes, I, seeing Dr. B, as we, present this partnered broadcast with YAAD Radio and the Dark Foundation. And we're just giving a little historical, perspective as to the Coral Gardens incident, what we call Black Friday. Again, Coral Gardens was the home to a small scale Rasta farming community, but the government wanted to convert the area into a tourist destination and would frequently send police to evict the community. In one such incident, in 1961, police attacked Rasta sympathizer Rudolph Franklyn, shooting him 6 times in the stomach and then on the ground of cannabis possession, arrested him and got out of the hospital and sentenced him to 6 months in prison. So the ones went into the community and again harassing Rastafari, come up with some false, you know, claims. In response, the citizens stood up and reflected just their displays about what happened with the police and Coral Gardens. This, of course, caused widespread brutality against Rasta across the island. The Prime Minister of Jamaica, Alexander Bustamante, is said to have ordered that all Rastas be shot on sight. And this led to our people, I and I, African people, being hunted like wild animals in every crevice and corner of Jamaica. Now, to survive Rasta and even non-Rastas with beard and long hair had to get rid of them. Get rid of them here and get rid of them beard as a way of really getting away from them. But a large majority of them remained faithful. Many were killed along the way, and this prolonged tribulation that led to the Emperor Haile Selassie I historic state visit to Jamaica on April 21st, 1966. Again, give thanks for joining us here for this special broadcast today. Dr. B, welcome
Yes,
again
fire.
to the platform
Yeah,
of
man, give
YAAD
thanks to
Radio,
life.
Aziz.
Give thanks to the I Yard Radio community. I'm humbled and honored to be a part of this lofty network because, having the voice of the lion speaking as opposed to be the hunter speaking is very prolific as far as I'm concerned. It is important that you hear the lion tell the story because when the hunter tells the story, the hunter will tell the story so that it is favorable for the hunter. But when the hunted speak, one get a different perspective, and oftentimes one get the true perspective as to really what took place. So, give thanks for this Lax Farm for this network to allow us, I and I was Rastafari, to really express ourselves accordingly. As you aptly stated, Honorable Osh, is that, back in 1963, the Rastafari nation was under siege, particularly during the Coral Garden Massacre or the Coral Garden Incident. Well, when you say incident, kind of soften the blow. When we say massacre, we kind of understand the deluge, the essence of what it's about. So bear with I if I choose the term Coral Garden Massacre,
Hmm.
because that's how I see it, where the nation of Rastafari was, in essence, massacred by the state and the people of Jamaica. Because let's not be fooled. What took place was not only the action of the state of the governance of Jamaica, it was the people of Jamaica that also had an uprising against the Rastafari citizenry.
Yes.
Because, as you are aware, the accent of Rastafari, dreadlocks, and utilizing of cannabis, i.e., ganja, was not something that the Jamaican populace really love. So when myself or yourself being in a home with our mothers and fathers who utterly abhor the consciousness of Rastafari and we take onto it, it becomes a major problem. So even our parents, as we all would recognize, for the most part, were not then in support of the Rastafari trad that their children would embrace, giving like a major problem. And the society, by and large, would not want to give Rastafari a job because you're bearded and you're dreadlocks. And during those days, dreadlocks was again utterly abhorred by the society, and as such you didn't get a job. So you have to develop that self-reliance, which was good because we had to then find ways to survive, honest ways to survive. I may add, because the whole advent of a survival was within the morality of Rastafari, and it was an honest way of survival. Don't let nobody fool you into thinking that Rastafari was wayward and what have you. And that is what the society does. That is why I started out by saying the hunted have to tell the story.
Yes.
Because when the hunter tells the story, it is oftentimes tainted in the wrong direction
Yes,
without
I.
any integrity and honesty. So in 1963, as you point out, there was this misconception wherein it was alleged that Rastafari started some nonsense, which that wasn't the case. It was the society that was oftentimes against Rastafari, and in reaction to being ill-treated, Rastafari decided to stand up him right. And herein we have this occasion on the 11th to 13th of April
Mhm.
1963. Now, if you notice, today is just the 3rd of April. Today
Yes.
is the 3rd of April, 1963. And see, everything kind of changed because this event took place on the 11th. So the official commemoration would be on Thursday, the 11th of April,
Hmm.
which take us into Friday, which is now what we call Bad Friday, because as you know, as far as the society is concerned, the Thursday would be dubbed Holy Thursday,
Yes.
and Friday would be dubbed Good
Good
Friday.
Friday. Yes.
So in 1963, the battle against Rastafari really began on Thursday, the 11th of April,
Hmm.
which takes us into Friday, the 12th of April, and basically subsided on Saturday, the 13th of April, which will be part of the entire Easter season. So, because today is known as Good Friday, and because the debacle has been dubbed by Rastafari as Bad Friday because of the atrocities that Rastafari faced, you find, say, we are now commemorating that occasion and today, but in truth and in fact, the real commemoration is on the 11th through the 13th, which would then
Mm.
bring us back to the time and space when this event took place. So we still have to come forward again in another week or so to really reiterate what really took place
True.
within 1963 against the Great Rastafari Nation.
Now, a lot of ones seem to, find it convenient to celebrate these time when they think it should be celebrated. But just from there, how important it is to really ivar those specific days that these atrocities took place.
it is essential because there's a degree of energy that culminates with the occasion itself. Nevertheless, understanding that the Easter season is something that is revered by a Judeo-Christian society, as in the island of Jamaica, one can readily understand that as to why then the Good Friday initiative or the Bad Friday initiative would be capitalized upon. Nevertheless, as you aptly state, the essence of the 11th through the 13th must not be lost,
Yes.
because that is exactly when it takes place. For example, if you have a birthday, right, Jamaica birthday, for example, according to independence, is the 6th of August. And it
Yes.
remains the 6th of August. Jesus' birthday in Jamaica, the 25th of December. It not changed from year to year. And, if you come from an Ethiopic perspective, it becomes the 7th of January.
Right.
So whether you look at the 25th of December or January the 7th, the story of Jesus still culminate on the same days.
Mm-hmm.
However, when it comes to Easter, because of the cycles and the old moon cycle, Easter is never the same time. Easter changed from year to year.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because of that, now we run up into this debacle. However, it does not negate the fact that on the 11th through the 13th of April 1963, the state of Jamaica and the citizenry by and large was up in arms against the Rastafari nation.
Yes. Wow. So real.
And
Yeah, go
it's
ahead.
real Rastafari. Yeah, because it's a major problem, because when you have the premier of the island issuing an edict that, Rastafari must be brought in dead or alive, that's a major problem, because even though today we are talking about Coral Gardens, during 1963, the situation did not only affect Coral Gardens, which is a local in the St. James area,
Mm-hmm.
in the Montego Bay region. It wasn't just that area. Wherever Rastafari was across the length and breadth of the island of Jamaica, Rastafari was under siege. So this was bigger than just Coral Garden.
Yes.
The epicenter then was Coral Garden.
Yes. Yes.
However, across the entire island of Jamaica, you had, the situation where Rastafari was under siege, to the extent that, the Prime Minister of Jamaica made a statement that if him don't get rid of all Rastafari out of Jamaica, may Almighty God blind him. And
Mm-hmm.
you know what happened? Him did blind for true.
Yeah, want him
You
call
see,
down judgment upon
but
himself,
him say that,
Mm-hmm.
yes, him call it on himself Rasta. So that is what, and that is the Prime Minister Clark, also known as Sir Alexander Bustamante, which is one of the first hero within the island of Jamaica. And to this day, Rastafari still is, up in arms as to hope someone from that ilk can become an hero of the state.
Mm-hmm.
And will I really like that to be the individual to be removed from that status, considering your own citizenry. You send out an edict to say, well, listen, bring them in dead and alive, and if you don't eradicate all of them from the island, then may Almighty God blind you, because that is the big victim and the vendetta that you have. So I was very pleased that you brought into effect the visit of His Imperial Majesty Haile Selassie I in 1966,
Yes.
because that is when Rastafari was able to show them face again. Ever
Yes.
since from 1963 to 1966, and that's why the essence of His Majesty visit was such an alarming thing as far as the state is concerned. Because for one, they never know so much Rasta in the island.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a shock to the Jamaican populace to see so much Rasta there, because Rasta had to really take to the hills to save our lives,
Mm-hmm.
because the entire state was up in arms against Rastafari, and the sitting through wherever you see Rasta, people just become quote unquote informers, where they
Yes.
inform to the Jamaica Constabulary and Defense Forces respectively to really, annihilate and to eradicate Rastafari from the nation. And look, right now, the Jamaica use Rastafari as ways how they can increase the tourism on the island. But not to be outdone, recently the current premier of Jamaica did extend an apology to the great Rastafari nation. Still, we have to really put that in
Mhm.
where uh, Premier Holness did extend to the great Rastafari nation an apology on behalf of the Jamaica government for the atrocities that was committed against Rastafari. I mean, we don't just rest that on our laurels at all. We still glad that somebody would say yes. What they did was atrocious. At the
Mhm.
same time, it requires more than that because the little pittance that Coral Garden received is insufficient.
Yeah.
Because once again, the atrocities was not limited to Coral Garden, but existed in quite the length, so the length and breadth of the island of Jamaica.
Yes, I. And you see, following up with that, we have witnessed today in uh Albion Heights in Montego Bay, the Coral Gardens Benevolent Society hosting their Bad Friday event, for which the government of Jamaica through Bobsy Grange and also Horace Chang was present, and they gave over the title for the two plots of land that was given to the Rastafari as the office space, with again voices being sound that there's more land to be obtained for farming and for other purposes. So we're seeing how today the works of a lot of the ones them within the Rastafari community has, helped in some way to provide now resources and a space where I and I can, operate from and to be able to carry out the creed of Rastafari. So we just want individuals to know breaking news. You hear it here first. If you did not see the stream live, you know, the ones from the Coral Gardens Benevolent Society received their title for the land after agitating for
So
so many years.
and we must point out to the general population that the Coral Garden Benevolent Society is not really them get the land. The land was given to Rastafari, but they are the custodian for
Yes.
said property. So, as custodian, they would be the person with whom the Jamaican governance would communicate. However, it is beyond just a Coral Garden Benevolent Society. It is because the atrocities was done against Rastafari.
Hmm.
In fact, during those times, there was no Coral Garden Benevolent Society. This organization was established specifically to address the atrocities with the government.
Yes.
So, let's put things into the proper perspective and to recognize things for the way they are because sometimes, things are viewed out of context and
Yes.
that out of context, make we kind of oftentimes go down back up the wrong tree, so to speak. And we don't want that. We want it to be known that, yeah, because Coral Garden Benevolent Society get a beat up because of that too.
Yes, yes,
You understand?
definitely,
Because they
definitely.
have come against a whole lot. Because all they are is they are the holding grounds, literally speaking, to ensure then that the governance, because the government cannot really communicate directly with every single individual. That would be atrocity. So they
Hmm.
choose then an entity that is registered and then would be the representation. So now it is upon the Coral Garden Benevolent Society to recognize their station within the scheme of things and then work diligently and creatively with the broader Rastafari nation to ensure then that things will be disseminated accordingly.
Yes, I definitely, definitely. We want to really, amplify that sound and clarify even those thoughts. We give thanks again. This broadcast is a special broadcast partnered with Dark Foundation. We ask individuals, yes, share the link. And also, you may be able to join the discussion by just adding your pointers in the chat. Yeah. So for those persons who are tuned in to the YAAD Radio on YouTube, You may use the chat just to voice your opinion, to ask any question, or to clarify anything within the discussion here. One of the resources I and I will always recommend ones to watch for those who have been under a rock and don't know about the Bad Friday. There's a film that was made, a docu film that was made in 2011, which is entitled Bad Friday Rastafari After Coral Gardens. We ask individuals to please support that film as much as possible, and to also do your research, in terms of the newspapers, to get your reading on, so that you are clear on what took place also during that atrocity against I and I in this time. Yes, I. No,
Yeah,
yes, go ahead, please.
yes, Honorable was. I would be amiss if I did not point out to the assembly that yesterday was the day of ascension,
Mm-hmm.
which, in other words, in 1930, our Divine Majesty Gramawi Kidumawi Haile Selassie became Emperor of Ethiopia on the 2nd of April 1930. Oftentimes that day pass us by with not even a whimper. However, we must recognize that it was on the 2nd of April 1930 that Haile Selassie I ascended the throne of Ethiopia. And to see that we are talking about this event today, it's apropos,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely appropriate.
Yes, I. Yes, I. No, I'm so happy that you brought that up, because I guess a lot of individuals really wait until the time when His Majesty was crowned with Her Majesty to celebrate that. However, you're now bringing up the fact that really is the 2nd of April is really that Ascension Day. Can you just explain to us, as best as possible, just about that
Yeah,
day?
in a nutshell, you know what I mean, let us surmise it in a particular way without being crazy not.
Yes.
The essence is that usually the crown and the throne must be occupied at all times. Thus the term long live the king, because the king is immortal based upon tradition. And the same thing goes not just for kings in Ethiopia, but globally. The immortality of the king or the kingdom means that once one individual die or is uh, or vacate the throne, then immediately thereafter the subsequent individual takes over. Now, on the 2nd of April 1930, Empress Zaditu was then the empress that was ruling Ethiopia with the assistance of His Imperial Majesty. Now, she uh, gave up her flesh. He gave up the ghost, as is often say. And in her demise, immediately thereafter, Emperor Haile Selassie I ascended the throne. So again, that all that took place on the 2nd of April 1930. Now, 7 months to the day, the big bashment was kept. So His Majesty organized a bashment for his coronation exercise. And that's what we are all familiar with. We love bashment still. I mean, I use that term not loosely, but realistically. Because on the 2nd of November 1930, all of the pageantries of the coronation took place. Recently, in the United Kingdom, in England, Elizabeth, oh God, did I say that? Elizabeth of England, she lost the ghost.
Yes.
And thereafter, her son,
Mm-hmm.
Charles, became premier. He was premier immediately after. However, it took a while. It took a while before he too was then coronated, and he has his coronation. That in Emperor Haile Selassie I case gave them His Majesty time to invite guests and everything. So it is impossible to do those things if you're going to have the coronation the same day because then no one would have come because no one knows when the person is going to die. So after Empress Zadi to transition, then His Majesty would send out. Thus we hear the thing that 72 different nations of the world did come to that great carnation in 1930, the 2nd of November. So it's a significant day. Don't get me wrong. However, the equally, if not more significant, is the day when His Majesty ascended the throne, which is on the 2nd of April 1930. And far too often, that day passes by with a whimper. The Rasta-centric approach to things doesn't really pay attention to the day when the Emperor of Ethiopia officially ascended the throne, which is on the 2nd of April 1930.
Yes, I. Yes, I. Very, very important reasoning. Very, very important reason here. I must say, I am also guilty of that. And YAAD Radio is really guilty of that also because it is one of those things where I and I should really, really celebrate, celebrate, make aware, amplify using the medium here. So, I would like to personally thank the I and the Dark Foundation for that level of education where the I gear in terms of this groundings. And, this discussion started off here. And, it is really my honor now to bring it forward to the ones with hopes that next year we really look into having an event, seeing, or if there's someone who has hosted an event somewhere, because we know the thing already, because we don't know right now. But if a one's host an event, that we also come forward and support those individuals and making it really a calendar event for I and I. See it.
Fireman, that is so apropos because through the years, with the knowledge that we was able to share with Redemption Ground, for example. Redemption Ground is the Nyabingi space that is governed by Rastafari
Yes, I.
in Great Pond in the St. and Paris, and each year, including this year, he usually keep an eyes is to commemorate essentially. Once it hit him that it's a reality, so similarly to it hitting the eye now, and the eye know it's a reality, is same, you can either join in with Rastafari, and since you have a lax form or a network that is on the air, you can do so that individuals across the globe can become conscious of that reality. Because
Yes.
it's about knowledge, because without knowledge, the people perish. And we know in no perish business. One wants to be prosperous, and with knowledge come prosperity. And because of that, we give thanks to Rastafari and the Nyabingi Foundation in Great Pond, which is, a very key component. Redemption Ground
Yes, I.
is the name that area is called. So if you reach out right now, say Rastafari always, since he become knowledgeable of that reality, always make sure that he commemorate the occasion with Isis. When we say Isis is a Ayabinge celebration of the occasion.
Yes, I. It brings to mind it's two events. I think December 1st also he has a bingy at his gates also. Seeing,
Yeah, but
I'm trying to remember
you have
even.
different ones. He has
Yes.
the 5th of May. The 5th of May is for Victory Day. But we also have September the 1st. September the 1st is the day when Haile Selassie the first received his name through his baptism, it's his rite of passage. So in 1892, on the 1st of September, the official name Haile Selassie became part of the renals of Rastafari. Even though he was born of Rastafari, he went through a rite of passage. 40 days after he was born, and during that rite of passage, he was given the name Haile Selassie,
Yes.
which later in 1930 at the coronation, he chose that as his coronation name. It's a name that he had since 1892 on the 1st of September. So we come to recognize those reality. I would say, September 1st is what we classify as rite of passage day, because a rite of passage where we encourage ones to really have the children them and take them through that transition where they can now embrace Rastafari from a higher consciousness and ourselves too to a higher consciousness in life, etc. So the September the 1st, you know what I mean? We talk about Mother's Day again, which is the 1st of January. Why? Because Her Majesty, who was the mother, that is Yashima Bet Ali, who was the mother of Haile Selassie, she was born on the 1st of January.
Wow.
And because she's the mother of Rastafari, we say Rastafari Mother's Day, because it's a fact. It's the mother of Haile Selassie the first. And so it's Rastafari Mother's Day. Similarly, the 8th of May, we call Rastafari Father's Day, because the May 8th is the essence of when His Majesty Father, Ras Makonnen, Waldo
Yes.
Michael, he was born as well. So we have our own things, you know.
Yes, we
That is
do.
unique to the great Rastafari nation, is just to identify them and to embrace them accordingly without, feeling as if we need to be entrapped within the society of the other peoples, because other peoples have them things. We just know people with them things.
Yeah,
And
man.
then Rastafari, being a unique essence, can embrace, can we have things throughout the year that we
Yes.
can deal with.
Yes, I.
Mother's Day,
Father's
Father's
Day.
Day, Ascension Day, you know what I mean, Rite of Passage Day, the Days of the King, the King's Day, you know what I mean, because of course in 1928 His Majesty ascended the throne as Negos, which is king. So we have to deal with that day too. There's so many different things, and you know, what we need to do, we make sure you get one of the almanac, because the
Yes.
Dark Foundation established an almanac that have
Yes.
all of the days them inside of it, because
That
we
is
feel
what.
it important that
I,
things can be, visible to the nation, and we take the responsibility to say, yeah, what, no, we know the days. We can't just keep all of that, Ed, we do the thing to all of us. You know what
yes,
I mean?
I. Yes, I.
So
Most
we look at
naturally.
it like that.
Most naturally.
Mm-hmm.
And with that said, I would also like to just acknowledge the Sosa crew along with Herb for the Pure, who normally have the Father's Day event, you know, as I and I know it to be. Last year we were invited to that event in Papine, and therefore we're looking forward to even this year the celebration. It's normally even broadcast on IRA FM through Muta Baruka. So we want to big up again Sosa crew along with Herb for the Pure, who really acknowledge the Father's Day. Um
Mm-hmm.
we find that though I'm tempted to ask this question as it comes to I.
No, man, yield not to temptation. Just say we ask if I are.
Yes, I give thanks, Abba, give thanks. Ian. The ones seem to really celebrate certain days as they see it appropriate to the time and not to what is historically right. Because we see, once hailing Empress Menen Earth Strong, but yet still we know Ivar Yashima Bet's Earth Strong. You know what I mean? And have a big celebration about it. How do you feel, as an
Well,
ancient
you see, one can celebrate whatever they wish. However, we have to put things, as you say, into perspective. When we take a stock as a situation, Her Majesty is the consort of Haile Selassie first. And because of how we look at consort, I can remember, we have it that Haile Selassie the first under her was crowned at the same time. It wasn't really true, but they were crowned on the same day,
yes,
because there
yes,
was two distinctly different events that took place on the same day. Because normally it's done like that throughout the history of Ethiopia. However, on this particular, it's a matter of economics. Because instead of call people back 3 days later, these people that come from all over the world and all them something, it wasn't realistic. So what happened is, with the astuteness of His Majesty, he decides, okay, the second portion of the crowning will take place, and the same. They, you see, but it was a completely different thing because if you look at the coronation of His Majesty, where's the female scepter, the orb, the lances, and all these other things? That was an integral part of the event itself because it wasn't just a mere crowning, it was a crowning where the scepter was a key component of it. You know, the lances and the sword and all these things was a key component. And each of them play a significant role because if we go forward and pay attention to the sermon itself, it will tell you what is the meaning of each of these things. They were not frivolous things just there for the fun of it, but they had deep meaning to the essence of our tradition as Ethiopic people and also as Rastafari people. You see, so it changed up the dynamics. So, and that's why I asked the question now that during the invasion in 1935, because remember, within 5 years, Italy invaded Ethiopia. And the same crown that we says that was crowned the same time, Her Majesty gave that crown away because she was saying that is Jesus Christ ever save Ethiopia from the Dulwich when Ethiopia have always stand up. Where was Jesus Christ in the Battle of Adwa?
No,
Is Ethiopian revolutionaries them free Ethiopia? And it's the same thing happened during Emperor Haile Selassie's time. That is why he went and he speak to the League of Nations. And the irony about it, is that Hitler, Adolf Hitler, the same villain that provided the necessary arms that Haile Selassie the First and the Ethiopian generals them could use to defeat Benito Mussolini. I don't think they worry about facts, I worry about emotion. And too often we get trapped into emotion and become emotional prisoners, which is a problem in our lives. Let's be for real. You know what I mean? We respect Her Majesty, but this throne is about Haile Selassie. Straight. It's not no balance and all them nonsense. It is about Haile Selassie because he is the one that ascended the throne in 1928. In 1916,
true.
when he became regent to the throne, it was him. You see, and the work that he did to establish an organization of African unity, and then in a few weeks, we're going to be commemorating his visit to the island of Jamaica. Not their visit to the island of Jamaica. Because guess what? That's why we call the thing Rastafari. But, in this new day and age, because Babylon kind of be anti-female, we turn everything upside down. And then we look at each others as being, what we call it, chauvinistic and misogynistic and all these proper terminologies that we label ourselves to become, not realizing that history is history and we can't be revisionist historian.
True.
We can't just change history to become what we want it to be, which is what you're alluding to, Honorable host.
True.
So let us look at the reality as to the history of it. And it is Emperor Haile Selassie first, which is what we've been doing for so long.
Well, I am
It's not
tempted.
Emperor Haile Selassie and his consort at all. That's madness.
I'm tempted to ask you to elaborate more on that and to just tell if there's any other examples of that within the movement right now where you see one's trying to really shape the thing in such a way where it's like a churchical thing where we feel like a data go bring forward more people to the Rastafari movement or
Because you see, the problem is that we become a movement. Reality is not a movement. Because we move around all over the place like we're full of something and a bowel movement. We're not in a world of movement, Rasta. It's a livity. It's a conscious recognition of who you are. That metamorphosis leaving from that whole caterpillar consciousness and you can float in a higher consciousness, which your third or your first eyes open to a higher degree of consciousness. Now, when we look at Haile Selassie, first, what does Haile Selassie mean? It's a gaze word or sound that mean the might of the triunal. aka the might of the Trinity, which means it incorporates everybody. It's not a male chauvinistic approach to it. So when the emperor, he represents all of Ethiopia, and he says he represents everybody, the female and the male and the children and everyone within Ethiopia. This is not talking about other societies that may be chauvinistic. I may change the thing to be woman against initiative. This is an emperor that is for the entire nation. And today we are then commemorating the birthday of Her Majesty Empress Menen. And we give thanks to it, Don't feel no way, But remember, when His Majesty speak, remember His Majesty have next woman, I have baby with them before Her Majesty. Let's get the thing straight. You see, and Her Majesty have next men and have children with these other men too. So if we start talks nonsense, it will open up Pandora's box. Let's put the thing for what it is. That is Emperor Haile Selassie first we are about, and we give thanks. Don't go out and say, you hear that be come and him say, well, if we commemorate the birthday of Her Majesty. We're not saying that at all. But the mother of the first child of Haile Selassie, what happened to her? She don't make no sense anymore? Was she a frivolous sex? To bring about the child, because all children come through sex unless you talk about in vitro fertilization and test tube. And Emperor Haile Selassie didn't deal with that. So he had sexual intercourse with his wife and bring about these children. And we have to give thanks to wife number one who brought these children too. So was she not count?
Yeah.
It's only Empress Menen count. And as you say, even better yet, the most important female in your life is your mother, because she bring you upon the planet. If she did have abortion, you wedlocks wouldn't exist.
Exactly.
Dr. B wouldn't exist without the contribution of the eggs from mommy.
Yes.
So it's the loin and the womb, and the loin that provided the seed for Haile Selassie to come into this planet of ours is a virgin by the name of Rasmakonin Waldo Mikhail. Him that, Rasmakonin for short.
Yes,
He missed the word. And the female that provides the egg that was fertilized by Rasmakonin is Yashima Bet Ali. The most significant people. And since we like Kemet talk, right? We like going to Kemet and talk about what exists in Egypt and all them things. The Egyptology states that it's the mother, father, and the child. Witness the child is the anointed one. And in this instance, the mother is Yashima Bet Ali, the father is Rasmakonin, and the anointed one is Haile Selassie. Boom.
Yes. Very much so. Very much so. You see, we love this reasoning now, Jabi, because boy, a lot of persons are not brave enough, I would say, to even say these things because of the time again where we see masculinity is under attack and a whole lot of things going on, and it's like people trying to equate the thing, but we have to really fulfill what is historically written and teach that.
Babylon business.
Teach those facts. Yeah, we can't get caught up with where Babylon did, because I and I don't know so these days were coming ahead. Is it? And now is a time for we just act accordingly. So, right? Yeah, man, we love it. We love it. Again, thank you for tuning in to YAAD Radio. Today's broadcast is a special broadcast brought to you by D.A.R.C Foundation. Yeah, man, we commemorating the 63rd anniversary of what is called Bad Friday, the Coral Gardens Massacre. You know, the atrocities that took place 63 years ago here in Jamaica. Of course, we're joined by Dr. B from the D.A.R.C Foundation.
But
Yes,
say, right? The 63 years, is the second day of the atrocities, because again, it began on the 11th, and
11th.
the 11th was a Thursday, not a
Mm-hmm.
Friday. So that from yesterday, if we're going to be fair to what the situation is, it
Mm-hmm.
starts on Holy Thursday and accelerate to
The
Good, aka Bad Friday, which
mm-hmm.
is today. So everything started yesterday, evolved into today,
Mm-hmm.
and seal up tomorrow based on the history of it.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to go wheel and come again now on the 11th of this month.
Of April. Yes, I. And
Yes,
IR
and then take
Radio.
it through to the 13th.
Yes, IR Radio will be taking that charge and really, livicating our broadcast on the 11th to, again, the Coral Gardens Massacre. Just, speaking about it,
Mhm.
having honorable guests on, like the I self, hopefully Jerry Small, amongst many others, it's very important
Yes,
that
sir.
we look at these things now, just to focus in again, because we spoke of so many different things a little while ago, putting things into perspective, because historical facts, these are things we will have to really recognize and also practice them, as we have spoken of the significance of certain days. And my love how you know put it into perspective as to even how in this western hemisphere we don't change up the 25th of December at the day that they must say, and if it appear upon a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Sunday, no matter, that is the day that the ones them observe. So we have to, of course, revise, get into our minds, into our heavens, that whole the facts of which day these things happen, so that we can celebrate them accordingly. Now,
Yeah, and I'm sorry, Honorable. It's the political aspect of it, because today is a holiday, right? And
yeah.
today is quote unquote Good Friday.
Hmm.
So when you bring it into today, it kind of bring a pivot, a riveting as to the atrocities. Guy, you say, boy, when this supposed to be a quote unquote holy day, a day that stand within the annals of Judeo Christianity to be specific, right? Then for these atrocities to take place on days like these make it even worse, because these people are people who claim say they are religious and are Irish people, yet during their most religious times they are behaving in this manner against us. So I understand the political undercurrent of it. Nevertheless, it still does not negate that the time and space in question is still the 11th through the 13th.
Hmm.
That can't shift that. That's a reality.
Exactly. Exactly. Yes, I. We love how the I put it straight into perspective. As we say, we give thanks. We give thanks to this reason. We give thanks to this opportunity. Now, in focusing on the a series of events, because these are things which I know ancients personally probably sitting and reason with DI, because you share certain things with I, and of course they have been also recorded on the docu film that was made. Thus in terms of how Rastafari had to navigate those time after getting the orders, after the country received, because again we're saying it's not just the police that were actively involved, but also citizens of Jamaica took it upon themselves to even what I call report a certain ones who da move like Farah, just again bring us through what what you have been told, and also just the what you have read based on your research of this whole Bad Friday.
Remember,
Mm-hmm.
remember, right? Police does not function without informers. Wherever you go on the planet, police need informers, information in order to. That's why they have investigation. Investigation simply means they're going to investigate it to get people who is going to inform and let them know what took place. So is the peoples of Jamaica would say, well, you want to say breadlocks underneath the cellar over there, so and them go dig them out. They don't know. They're in their police. homes or in their police offices or in their police stations. They don't know. But this informer now give the information so that they can come for breadlocks. And when they come for breadlocks, they're not coming and giving you no joy. The mother bust you upside the head, bleed up your skull, cut off your locks, and literally abuse you, which was what was done. And it's the people who hate Rasta, like a dose of poison, as we would say. These ones now point out, say, huh, one dreadlocks up the road or a bearded man up the road. Because the bearded man feel it too. You see, some people now, in order to save them life, I don't say them coward, but some people braver than others. And in order to save them life, them go, cut off them ear or shave them beard so that them could have walk free. Some refuse to do that, and some who refuse to do that is no longer in the land that they live in, because the society murder them. So what must I say now? I can be as judgmental as they come and say, well, man shouldn't put man dead. Say, let's be real. That is the decision that an individual make, and I am not here to be the judge of an ex-man liberty. I know what I would do and what I have done to maintain my consciousness with locks. But we can't tell the next man, say, yo, you have to follow me. Follow fashion monkey, never drink good soup, Come again, Mr. Chair.
Yes, I. Well, Chabi, it's very interesting how the I reason because certain seriousness, the I really break it down as very simple as possible, and also just add a little bit of humanness to it, For I and I people really Ivar again. Want to give thanks for the I being here, and being able to express this thing, clearly for I and I. Now, I must say the actions of individuals at that time, really and truly, we're not putting that into account. But once see, even within this time here, how we ask the question, you have to have locks for be Rasta. That question is always been asked, especially by I and I, when within a school, as in Jamaicans school system, when one's doing religious education and they're looking at Rastafari and trying to complete their SBA, you know. Would you say that it was this time, it was at that time in 1963 that really pivoted how the look of Rastafari really was established in Jamaica, where them really saying the ones them who maintain them locks are the real Congo Bongo warriors them versus the ones them who be kind of all heights differently, you know what I mean?
Well, you see, that is a Pandora's box you can ruffle up now because when you analyze this thing,
Yes, sir.
right, you have a bridging named Denry Morgan, and he has some children named Morgan Heritage, and they make a song saying "I have to be dread to be Rasta." And that song kind of sit well and bode well with a great portion of the Jamaican society because a man will say, oh, listen, they can become some, which is what we usually call the ones them, and ones can be quote unquote ballad without then reneging on your Rastafari values and virtues. And I say that. So well, we are enough ones that don't carry them wedding garments, which is their laps, and still come at the wedding in them regular clothes. You see. So it is a very touchy situation because, a man is lax and him full of shit. And a man who is not lax of consciousness. Which of the two people would you embrace? Would you embrace the man just because of his lax and him full of shit? Or the other person who is not lax but is virtuous?
Wow.
And the answer is a simple answer. However, it still does not mean that dreadlocks are not a rasta. Because the dreadlocks, you make a covenant, you take a different essence to go to the next step.
Yes.
And in Ethiopia, for example, in Ethiopia, you have different kind of abunas and priests. But you have the Batawi.
Mm-hmm.
The Batari have dreadlocks come all the way down to the ground, but them still at the priesthood same way. Them still a tried. And it's from this where the Rastafari virgin get it from.
Mm-hmm.
In Kenya, for example, during the African London Freedom Fighters Uprising, often mislabeled as Mau Mau, these African London freedom people, they they had a pledge that them can't cut them here during the liberation movement, So Ididan Kamate, General China, these ones were all dreadlocks people. Recognizing that they, as Kikuyu, they had to liberate themselves from the oppressive British government in Kenya. And
Mm.
they fought diligently and creatively as lax people. And they figure that when them is dreadlocks, it gives them more strength.
Mm-hmm.
You go forward to South Africa in Algeria, when the Algerian people them are fighting, them say it's the dreadlocks Rasta that gives them strength in deal with it. We have a bridging, right? Yeah, from Steel Pulse. So them sing a song, right? Named Steve Biko Kindred Lament. And when three South Africans was singing that song, they took them off stage, locked them up, try them, and give them about 18 years imprisonment in South Africa. And these freedom fighters say, are them kind of little ones there with the Bob Marley and the burning spear and the revolutionary and the symposium, and them lax people give them the energy and make them continue to fight and the struggle.
Yes,
So
I.
lax was not only a comedy business.
Mm-hmm.
See,
Mm-hmm.
because it influenced not only we on the island of Jamaica, but globally. Imagine you make a song and a man go to prison just to sing your song.
Song,
The
yeah.
man do not.
Yeah.
The man said blame South Africa for the corruption and because Steve Biko King Dread Lament. You listen to the song. The
The
song
song.
not say nothing out of the way. It just called in the historical reality. Nevertheless, first, them raid the place. Second, them arrest the man them. Third, them put them at jail. Secondly, them go to court.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, they were tried and convicted and imprisoned.
Yes, yes. Yes.
That
A
word
serious
process,
thing that.
that means it was a premeditated essence for the state is against dreadlocks Rastafari.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's Rastafari and the dreadlocks that they don't like. Because, for example, you in your home now, right? And you decide to say, love Rasta. Yeah. And you comb your hair, you go to the barber and everything. It's not so much a threat to your parents.
Hey, I
But
just
make you start have this little bullshit pet from your head.
family.
Jesus will.
I was
Jesus Christ,
just
you
about to
nourish me.
tell you my personal experience with Rastafari.
Please
We just putting on locks.
share it with the nation. Share it with the nation,
Yes,
please.
I because when I and I first had up Rastafari in a fire, but this was in like high school, and I usually read certain book and usually say certain things, and it's like the ones them I said to I say, yo, oh yeah, talk so. Like yeah, get mad. See, that's the first thing them start say to I. Oh, I a reason so I talk and I mention certain things. Now, you see, when I and I really put on I nuts and start nuts I head, yeah man, them start call I madman fireball. The community, my community itself, I could feel the energies of certain ones. Is like, what this a youth I will go good school. All of a sudden him turn Rasta and him a this and him a that and all these things. And it's so the thing got through even with I tried going through university. I am a part of the culture club of the school and became the head of the culture school, the culture club at Michael. And them say, yo, is a Rasta club. I go into the schools now, graduate and go into the schools, formal educational institution in Jamaica, where it is supposed that Marcus Garvey is taught in the curriculum. I took that out of what was supposed to be taught in the classroom and turn it into a club with the help of the UNIA, and it is called the Garvey Club. But the ones them insist that I turn the youth them in a Rasta. See it, and it is just based upon how the youths them start carry themselves, how the youths them start talk to the ones them, and how the youths them start reflect certain energies. It's like them no want see are ones with locks. That whole image of them is disturbing. I have had teachers try pray me out of the department in a fireball. Yeah, man. Pray I come see the ones them have a praying circle like them I try pray I out of I job and based upon the works what I do. And that is because I had on I nuts. Is that what I say? So I have always experienced that just that overall thing I talk to people on them on the phone, and because I read a lot and I probably have a me select them call it type of way of expressing myself, which is both native in terms of the patois, Rastafari, but I use English which makes it, universal for once. You see when the ones they meet I is a totally different it's a totally different thing, man. I just want to give thanks for ones like Mr. Duhaney, and I now stop call that hygiene name. That hygiene was probably a cool lax person, or whatever they call, because this was of course the vice principal of Michael at the time. He later went on to be the principal at Edna Manley. See, but that bridging call into him office and see I with I lax looking like Zachariah dumpling head and say, watch I know fire. This space is not a space where really look out for ones like the eye them, but I go guide the eye. I go really make you know what is really for look out for and all these things. And it's those people strength I reason up with I make I have to really get into myself where I became even the second on the student council and also one of the leading persons in terms of intercal, you know, as the SRO of Michael University. So I and I know personally how one deal with I when I did just a reason up and still comb my ear and have certain little thing in line to when I start look like Zachariah dumpling head where I lock stick up in the ear. And it doesn't matter how neat I look in that suit, that image of this Rasta head man in the university, in the class, ones who instead of bringing a cup to class, I walk with a jelly coconut where I lecture, tell I say, yo, I can't stay in there, but a one can come in with a KFC cup. I mean, I say, what is the difference? I live, I image, I everything that is a threat to them. Seeing? Yes, I.
So
What a
you see,
judgment.
when you just touch on that is the judgment, because you see, you were living the organic way, living to the ital way, that way that was grounded in humanity. The other person was not, and it is like a threat. The society look at it as a threat where you live in natural. And it's ironic, because I go to university inside the United States, and them love I and I as dreadlocks.
Yeah, man. Outside of Jamaica is a different thing.
You see, so you don't figure say Jamaica, which is the foundation of this somewhere, you get abused and bemused and belittled and beguiled. Now be all different kind of something. Yet you go abroad where you would expect the discrimination, and the people them start treat you better. It's ridiculous. I come to the America, and when I done school, I go out in a prison, and make one could wear locks in a prison, and the prison authority allow you to wear locks because of the work I and I do in the United States of America.
Yes, I.
See, so here it is now. Here we are, domiciled in the mainland of the United States. Yet we get certain amount of respect. And when we domicile in the slave plantation of Jamaica, we get disrespect. Donkey right when him say the ground no level. Because that is an example of the ground not being level at all. Because come on, you'd expect, say, with all the great things that Rastafari has done towards the upkeep of Jamaica, to advance Jamaica to the extent where it is today, to continue in 2026 to be discriminated against. It's like, yeah, it just the gang well in a level for real. It will stop. And you know who's gonna stop it? The same quote unquote ballad, the same person that the principal that was there for you and point out, is the citizenry is going to stand up and say, no longer will we tolerate the anti-Rastafari sentiments on the island. And if the people them say it can't be tolerated, it won't be tolerated.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people that becomes the police, not the
Yes.
police become the people.
But
See, so if I have a negative mentality against Rasta and now I'm a member of the constabulary force, then that negative mentality gonna transfer with me being an agent provocateur within that constabulary force.
mm-hmm.
And it
Yes.
doesn't make any sense. So it's the people of Jamaica that have to change it to say, hey, you see what happened? Like how the present prime minister said, why never again?
Yes.
That's it. Never again. And then to put in place, things that will ensure that it don't happen again. Yeah, it's good to say it. But
Mm-hmm.
are you now gonna enact changes in the laws that to ensure that it never happen again?
And you see,
You see,
it's very important that you say these things, and we want to really also look at what you said in terms of Rastafari within Jamaica is really being persecuted. When I travel, I get the most love for real in terms of even those I trod, I look, I everything. Would you say that this is just a remnant of the British kind of vibration within the Caribbean? Because I remember even the ones them in 1974 with the Dread Act in what was it, Dominica?
Dominica.
Yes, I
Yes, Dominica, correct.
we're again.
Eugenia Charles.
Yes, I.
Mm-hmm.
In November 19, and just quick search here on the World Wide Web. In November 1917, the Labour government, which was headed by Patrick John, had passed the Prohibited and Unlawful Societies Act, better known as the Dread Act. Because of the chaos that the Dreads were said to have caused, it was said that the aim of the Dread Act was to weed them out and to gain support among small farmers who felt threatened. The act drew the outrage of some in the political opposition, Trave, and newspapers further afield when it was made the killing of dreads an lawful act. Rastafari.
No,
One.
well, you see, that is a microcosm of what existed within Jamaica, within the whole Caribbean region,
Mm,
to a lesser extent, the United States. Because United States, again, would tolerate dreadlocks way more so
mm-hmm,
than we would be tolerated in the Caribbean. And that's a reality. Recently, you have Sen Kit's premier sent out, I think it's earlier this week, and he says, his mother is a Rastafari. And him say, no, this anti-Rastafari sentiment in St. Kitts must stop
yes.
because of the great role that, the people, the Rastafari nation have played in the advancement that he now can become the premier of St.
Thank
Kitts.
you. Yes. Yes.
Yes, so he just since earlier this week.
Mm-hmm.
Is it? Yeah, and he makes sure he stressed it that no longer should that be the case because so he's encouraging his fellow Sentitians to really have a different look, a different take as to how Rastafari is viewed, and this commemoration of a Bad Friday initiative and a Bad Friday incentive, we need to really take a inner look and come again to realize that it becomes the responsibility of the citizenry, not just us Rastafari, but the general population to say, no, we will not tolerate the disdain that has been perpetrated against Rastafari.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, that's what's needed. We're the people of the island. Step up and say, no, we will not tolerate it any longer.
Yes, yes. So, Sila, what Dr. B, they are really put things into perspective and, even usher us into the what is Rastafari now and what the future of Rastafari is. We see now the various mansions and organizations of Rastafari really coming together to facilitate certain works for the community and to commemorate and celebrate certain occasions within Rastafari, you know. Um, you know,
And
yeah, go well, go ahead, go ahead.
it's I must say it's ironic because I mean the prior effort, which is the Millennium Council,
Mm-hmm.
which existed to bring about that sense of unity, and it didn't seem to achieve that objective in Jamaica. But presently in Ethiopia, you'll find that the same Millennium Council is up front and center. And they have a correlation with different mansions, whether it's Nyabingi, Boba Shanti, 12 Tribe, Orthodox, etc.,
Mm-hmm.
are now united
Yes.
as one under the banner of the Millennium Council.
Council. Mm-hmm.
2026 we're talking about, So even though in our eyes the Millennium Council have died, it has not. It has re-established itself in the motherland,
Yes.
establishing a united effort to bring about oneness within Rastafari. So whatever the name is not the important thing,
Thing. Mm-hmm.
because sometimes the name change to protect the innocent. Is the act,
Yes.
the
Yes.
substantial act in manifesting things.
Mm-hmm.
You see, and too often we get cute because of names and not realizing it's the substance. That's what counts. And once we have those substance and we realize that, yeah, this is what it's about. Is unity the accepted goal, as
Mm-hmm.
our Majesty states? Yes. Then we have no choice but to have unity. However, a word of caution is that unity does not mean uniformity. And many
Mm.
times we expect uniformity to be the end result of unity. And if you strive for uniformity, dog, them your supper.
Exactly. I hear them pushing around a context of unity in diversity. You know,
No, you don't need have to say that.
It-
It's just unity.
it's just
You don't need to yeah, just make it simple. Unity. It's
unity.
about unity. And yeah, one will unite because you don't have to point out the diversity of the fingers
Mm-hmm.
because you have a fist.
Mm-hmm.
It just has fingers.
Mm-hmm.
And you put them together, you make a fist, and the fist is powerful. But each finger have a significant role. And it's not that the fingers are diverse. Are the same one hand.
Yes, I. Yes, I.
You see me? So yeah, so we know sometimes we get a little bit cute with linguistics.
Mm-hmm.
And the linguistics sometimes take us out of the comfort zone, but we don't have to make it such profound nonsense. Let's just realize that I and I must unite because unity is what it's all about. Because originally, I and I start out as unity, a one Rastafari for us
Yes, I.
all the way until different individuals decide to establish different things, not because they are not about unity, but because they have a responsibility. For example, the I may be running YAAD Radio. However, you may have different departments within YAAD Radio that
Yes.
function in different capacity for the efficiency of YAAD Radio. And that's in every walk of life.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So you can't just expect that everyone is going to be you. No, someone have maybe the online representation. Someone maybe the news department.
Mm-hmm.
Someone maybe the sport department, etc., etc. And each departments now work in coalition with each other to ensure that you have a successful entity that we, as the listener, can see and hear and respect and adore. That's
Mm.
what it's about. It's not about uniformity at all.
Yes.
You
Yes.
see, let I and I deal with the thing from a realistic perspective. Just like, oh, today is Her Majesty's birthday, and we give thanks that
Yes.
His Majesty have a consort. And I say, man, give
Mm.
thanks. Nothing wrong. But don't take things out of context as about this man is unbalanced and he need her to be the balance and the perfect balance. And them things are nonsense. No, no, go so.
Mm.
Get a life. Get a life, really. Get a life. Yeah, and deal with the reality of who Girmawi Kidamawi Haile Selassie is and why on the 40th day of his birth him get the name. Is him and she get the name?
Mm. Is him.
At
Is
40
him.
years old?
Is him. Get alive, people. Wow. This reasoning is brought to you today by the Dark Foundation. Seeing this is a partnership with YAAD Radio, the Charismatic Productions Transnational Cooperative Social Enterprise. These groups of companies, just here to really lift the African consciousness with products and services that meets your need and also ensure that the environment is secure. Remember again, people, we are part of this ecosystem or ecosystem as you may call it. Seeing? So again, we give thanks for just the time and the energies of the one taking in this vibration to really full the iris, seeing of some empowering information, factual information, yeah, that will cause the eye to move upful in this time. Boy, Jabi, Dr. B, want to look into some of the key elements where after I and I people go through all of this atrocity from Bakawal to, Coral Gardens, coming forward, what are some of the key things we have to look about establishing now in Rastafari? We know food sovereignty is one. And, I
The,
dare to ask you to even speak about
the
health.
most the most important thing
Mm-hmm.
is to de-traumatize ourselves because we've been traumatized.
Mm.
And some of the things that we see today is the effect of trauma. Trauma don't play.
Mm-hmm.
Our biggest responsibility is to de-traumatize ourselves because of the atrocities. Because you can't leave me in my head consistently, I mean, of trauma. It doesn't work. And that's what the Rastafari nation have faced. The continued bombardment, shot, beaten, after hide. Imagine on this day now,
Mm-hmm.
police is running you down and you have to hide in a pit toilet, sit down in a shit. Seriously? And you tell me, say, the nation is not traumatized?
Mm-hmm.
These are reality. This is not just a what if. We are echoing the reality of the times. Someone have to put, bust up my mattress, hide them loved one inside of the mattress. Man, I struggle for breathe in the These are the trauma that we face, where you know that you are being hunted by the state. These are the trauma. So some of the activities now, and that's why even with the sistering, because some of us abuse women. And because they have been abused, now they now start to become reactionary to that abuse. We must stop abuse our wives, our mothers, our daughters, and etc. See, because if it's liberation, it's liberation for us all. Well, since when you turn a back say hot pump down a woman, I kick her down, you're a football player. It doesn't make sense. These are some of the things that draw certain behavior because you tell her to do something and she don't want to listen to you, so you're going to become abusive to her. No, these things are wrong things, and all these things come from trauma. Let us de-traumatize ourselves. That is the first objective. Then we can have a different view on things. De-traumatizing, as far as I'm concerned, is the most important thing for the great Rastafari nation.
Yes, I. Yes, I must agree. I must agree. Because I and I see how even in dealing with each other, you know what I mean? In just how we even communicate with each other, how individuals come to an agreement to deal with certain things. I don't know if it is just a fear or but it causing a whole heap of issues with even I and I coming together to achieve certain things. That same kind of mindset, that same kind of blockage, it is even within I and I, where I and I constantly have to work at it and make sure say I deal with things, circumspect. So yeah, I must agree. It takes that change in mindset, recognizing who we are, going through certain rites of passage to get rid of certain things that is has been
Exactly.
inculcated in our brain, because a lot of us
Yes.
really are afraid to be African. You know what I mean? We're afraid to be ourselves, and therefore we take on certain other things which cause us now to even, make certain decisions and express ourselves in certain way that it's not of us, you know?
It's not. And that's why to de-traumatize ourselves, to wheel and come again, to metamorphose to where we were, as it was from yesterday, where we start using the first eye, a different consciousness with that pineal gland, where we can utilize it and we can detoxify our body, our mind, and our iris. We need to detoxify because we are toxic. And many of these toxicity exists because of the plight that we have been through as a people. So let's detoxify. Let's wheel and come again. Put ourselves on the plateau that we rightfully belong at. You have something that is great. You have a Godamari, Kidamari, Haile Selassie. You have a foundation,
Mm-hmm.
very important.
Mm-hmm.
Because again, if you look through the annals of this 21st century, there's nowhere else where you have a divinity that has been established amongst our people besides Haile Selassie. That's it.
Mm. Yes, I.
You dig far and wide and deep, you will not find another that maintain that old virtues. Yeah, where you call man God, you do everything, all different kind of pretty term.
Mm-hmm.
But again, my statement to the Rasta is, if Paul and the apostles can establish Jesus as their savior through Christ, why can't I establish Haile Selassie of mine through Gedemawi Kedemawi?
Sight. Sight. Yes, I.
See? And that's what I do. I can recognize, because if one makes sense
Mm-hmm.
and you recognize that and deal with it, and not only that, we are doing it in the time, because I live with Haile Selassie, We now look 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
When this master came to Jamaica, I as a lad saw him too, and many of our brethren them still is alive today.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So
man.
it's not like a next generation something. It's a regeneration.
Yes, I want really.
Here it's
Yes,
go ahead.
I really want really acknowledge Bongo Jerry Small. It's the other day I link up with Bongo Jerry Small, and him, tell her about the history, because he was at JC at the time of His Majesty visit and was
Yes.
there to see for himself, and experience certain
Hold on
things.
there. Stick up in. When
Highly.
you say GSC, mind the people think of Jesus Christ you talk about, So come again. Explain to it, please.
Jamaica College.
Oh, good. Thank you so much.
Jamaica College there on Hope Road. Why it's the either easy, Dr. B. Oh, I always bring joy to I and I in this time of fire money. In certain reasoning is so serious. But yes, Jamaica College, the institution, high school in Jamaica, and it's like it is so amazing. We don't want individuals to think say some kind of thing we read like some kind of something we put in our brain. They're actually persons who are alive, who actually went through that experience, seeing, and still can speak of His Majesty's visit. And it's so ironic. We want to acknowledge that there is an activity planned for April 21st, which is commemorating, yes, the anniversary of His Majesty visit. It's the 60th anniversary. We will be culminating at,
Diamond Jubilee.
yes, we will be culminating at the Louis Bennett um theater, in Kingston. So again, we want individuals to put them ears to the ground and to the trees, because that information will be coming out very soon. We're on April 21st. all of Jamaica gathering. We're starting with a motorcade. We're passing through the areas. We're visiting Haile Selassie High School and making sure that we make that round and make that day one of those memorable days, in I history. So we want to give thanks to the committee.
Honorable host, you
Yes, sir.
find that on that same day, the Haile Selassie School will be having a special event
Yes.
to commemorate that Diamond Jubilee as well.
Yes, sir.
So it will be good then, since one is right to come to the school, that ones be at the school during the time when the school is doing what they are doing, so things can culminate with each other.
Yes.
Because the school is already in the process of establishing their Diamond Jubilee. Because for those who are unaware, one of the most significant things that His Majesty gave was a school, money to establish a school within the island of Jamaica, specifically gold bars. And the Jamaican governance will take those gold bars and establish. So today the school is in Pineland, but there's a whole lot of different mix up with that.
Yes, I.
So that we can go into. So hopefully by the 21st we can elaborate further.
Yes, I.
Nevertheless, what it is, I'm encouraging that contingent that you're talking about will come to the school on the morning of the 21st.
Yes, I.
Because
It is.
I and I, but they know, I and I will be there to full take in the schools, because the principal did invite I and I to come through to learn, because we have adapted the schools throughout the years and have contributed a great many things to the institution, recognizing the goal that His Majesty had for Jamaica and Jamaican education.
Yes, I.
So
it is
so we're looking
important,
forward
man.
to that. So
yes, sir, it is very important.
So the 21st, that's important. Yes, sir.
There is plans, as what I know, there's plans made to involve the school, stop at the school, and also to give that strength. There are individuals who, because of the modem of how the event is, as they travel in, the school is one of those most important stops in the motorcade, in just gathering. So for those who are traveling from various parts of the island, I think the school is probably the first or second stop within that motorcade vibration. But again, more information will be given out. It is made aware that many mansions and organizations have come together, given representative to come forward and help to plan the day's event. But I just want to acknowledge it and be forthcoming by telling individuals to note that date. Remember, April 21st. Seeing a lot of persons try to sidestep the thing and talk about April 20th, but the real day of eye liberation is April 21st, in which this year we're celebrating the 60th anniversary of the visit of His Imperial Majesty Emperor Haile Selassie I of Ethiopia. Seeing, yes, Chabi, with D.A.R.C from 7:15. The time is now 8:46 p.m. here in Jamaica, Jamaica. Seeing one, big up all the indigenous communities, you know what I mean? Stay tuned to YAAD Radio. Again, we are the online community radio providing information to empower the African community. Yes, I are. Jabi, I have to ask you this because this is right now in your space of expertise. We talk about detoxification. We're talking about, getting the mind set and all these things. I think that's a psychologist thing, but we want also involve now the health part of it. I and I, in terms of the things I and I sip, which would be the right thing to get us in that frame of mind. Does food really have an effect on how I and I think? I mean, ones who eat jerk chicken act like a jerk for real. But we are say, those who ivor the ital way
of... Stick up in.
Yes, I.
Is it the jerk? Is it the jerk or is it the chicken? Because you see, because if it is the jerk, then if you jerk other things, then you will have the same negative effect. If it's the bird, then whether you jerk it or not, you're gonna have the effect. So come again, honorable.
But you know what? I'm gonna leave it alone and allow the eye to speak. And the yes, I.
Yeah, no, you see, yes, food play a significant role because you are what you eat. And even above all else, you are what you digest. Because if you eat something and you vomit it up, then hey, so is the digestion of the particular foods that you have. And if you have, there is important things that you need in life. You need to have, of course, the minerals. However, the electrical energies are critical. Chief among them is the oxygen and the hydrogen. Oxygen and hydrogen come together, and even though they are flammable gases, they produce water that the system needs. So you have two of the most flammable things that can make bomb that can blow the earth into submarines. However, they are important to life. So most of us have a deficiency in hydrogen, and we need to, find some more hydrogen, negative hydrogen ions that will enable us to neutralize the negative toxicity that our structure have in it. So that's why the seaweeds are so critical, whether it's the sea moss or it's the wakimi or it's the dulce. However, the one that I found to be most prolific of them all is the phytoplankton. The phytoplankton, which is the whales, the food. Yeah, you find that that one have way more nutritional benefit that will help to analyze the structure in the right way and fix some of the negativity that we may have in terms of de-traumatizing our body. That is a phytoplankton, one single food that you should have on a daily basis. Okay? It's good. If you can't have the phytoplankton, then of course you can always work with your CMAS on a daily basis. And of course, uncooked CMAS, it works better when you just wash it, soak it, blend it, and as opposed to wash it and then cook it. You know what I mean? Wash it, soak it, and blend it up. You find that it will, the metabolism of the electrolytes that is in it is way more poignant.
If
And
I.
it allow the enzymes
Mhm.
to be able to absorb this in the structure better. Yes, Rasta.
If I put it in like a glass thing and put it in the sun for a day, would that be enough heat to help to soften it and at the same time also still maintain its nutritional value?
Yes, it can. However, you don't even need to put it in the sun. I mean, I know you want raw. You need raw interaction with it. That is the electromagnetic feel of the sunlight. However, just by putting in some water is sufficient enough. That will soften it.
Okay.
You
Yes,
put
I.
in water, let it sit, soak in the water. That will soften it. And
Mm.
then if you have a blender or you have a mortar, you can beat it up, blend it up, and then drink it.
Mm.
And you will have the necessary electrolytes as well as the enzymes, which is the key component why food uncooked is so important, because the uncooked food will have more of the enzymes, which is critical in the proper digestion of the food, whereas the food that is cooked lack appropriate or any enzymes at all.
Yes, I.
Both will have electrolytes and other thing, but live food, is an enzyme rich food that is essential to life and health.
Yes, I. You see,
So good to see you, Mas.
mhm.
I'm sorry. Additionally, if you don't like CMAS, you don't like phytoplankton, then you can use the moringa. That's a land food that will do much of the same thing from the plant. And that's the beauty of creation. You are not limited to ocean foods.
Mhm.
You can
Mhm.
get food on the land itself, and the moringa is a good option that you can utilize on the planet. Another good food you can utilize on the planet is ganja. You know? Ganja is a great food, in particular the seed of the ganja, because the ganja seed provides, some of the essential fatty acids that you need, omega 6, 7, 9, 11, the guanolic acids and all those things. That is important. So you can then usually can get ganja seed in a most health food store nowadays.
Yes.
Get a ganja seed, it is oftentimes dehulled, and you just soak it and blend it. And
And
you'll get much of these things
they label it
that you
as
need.
what? Hemp seed also?
Yes, hemp seed or hemp hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? 'Cause hemp is just part of the whole family
Yes.
of marijuana. So you have hemp in so many different ways. I mean, there's an area that I live in from time to time known as Hempstead, which is a plantation, and there's a park there, and in the park there's a plaque that tells you that in the United States, one would go to prison if them don't grow hemp. If they didn't grow it, not if they did. You'll be in prison for not growing hemp.
In that no, Javi, hold on, man. I don't know if I
Yeah.
hear this one. Say that again, please. So the ones that we can really
I
hear.
am saying in the United States of America, in historical realm, and you have it in a particular park, that
Wow.
if you did not, as a farmer, grow marijuana, grow hemp, you would be imprisoned.
Wow. Wow.
So it becomes something because it was the crop for the war. And, there's Emp for Victory. There's a film known as Emp for Victory that anyone can go look up and
Yes.
take a look at it. Emp for Victory. And where that was the crop that funded the war in the United States. That's the world war we're talking about. You
Yes.
see me?
Yes,
And
I.
it was stated that if you did not say Redlocks of a farm and he did not plant ganja, I'm going to prison.
I love it. I love it. I will
Yeah,
forever plant herb, man. Zane. I just have
yeah,
it the ones them know, and it's not for no war effort. Again, we appeal in word sound power in this time. The end of any war against I and I people anywhere in the world, bar none. Seeing or buying and just, you know, release this sound weapon of mass construction to the world right now, saying that we are against any war, against any people, anywhere in this world right now. We
right.
ask,
That's a hard one,
well,
That's a hard one because African have enough war right now.
mm-hmm.
Africa kill African more than any other European is killing us
and,
as we speak.
and that is
So
why I
that's
speak
another
from that.
discussion for another time.
And that is why I speak from that, because I don't want individuals to feel like, say, yo, I and I just a talk about the war that is in being, you know, created in this time, but we're talking about the wars in Africa, tribes, and all these things. Very important also that we look and also word sound power chant against those wars. So we say all wars of this world. Yeah, we say
You
no
see,
war.
family.
Mm-hmm.
You see, family. It is so ironic that all of us know how important families are, and we encourage family virtues and values. But family is the biggest problem. The biggest problem because my family don't like your family and we have tribal war because all tribes is families.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow.
Nevertheless, we recognize the significance of families. So where does it end? Where does it begin? We want family virtues. We want a great Rastafari family together. And then we war because the next family wear blue and we wear green.
Mm.
We go to school and we usually divide us up into houses and, we war sport day come
Mm-hmm.
because every man want him house to win. You know what I mean? And it's supposed to be an exercise in advancement and joy in sports, whatever. It becomes an exercise in futility
Yeah, yeah.
because of what it's about. So the same family that we love and a virtuous family. It's the same family that say, okay, you have your son, and your son or your daughter is brilliant in school. I try my best to destroy your family because she get a better grade than mine.
Mm.
Them are the little junk of behavior I must cease and
Yes.
desist.
Yes. The
You see,
detox of the mind.
because of yes, and it's the mind where we just corrupt against one another, not
Wow.
realizing that we are one. We are
Yes,
one
I.
nation, and not because someone have a different mother or father, which means our love for them is going to be different.
Mm.
You see,
Yes.
and
Yes.
that's all because somebody eat meat or somebody don't eat meat. That means our love for them is going to be different. Because someone smoke ganja, the next man don't smoke it. Our love for them is going to be different, and we find so many things to divide us, as opposed to looking at the great things that unite us. Every one of us need the same oxygen, the same sunlight. All
Yes,
of
I.
us, and we share it every day. So let's care it.
Yes, I. Dr. B of the Dark Foundation, we give thanks for the reasoning today. Again, we're commemorating the 63rd anniversary of the Coral Gardens Massacre. Seeing, we call it the Bad Friday. Again, started on April 3rd, culminating on April 11th. And again, look out for the second in the series of this broadcast,
And
on
Regine,
yes, I.
I think you should have to culminate on April 13th because the original was 11 to
The,
13. To stop on the 11th would be a travesty, for lack of a better term. It have
yeah.
to be because the event in question began on the 11th of April
Mm-hmm.
and it subsided on the 13th.
Mm-hmm.
So are we gonna end it now on the 11th
Mm.
when it just a start?
It is. Yes, I. Yes, I. Well,
Well,
definitely.
you're with me.
Yes, I am with the eye. And
Yes, sir.
as we go,
I
we
see
make
that.
the correction and make sure that we IVAR this thing and put it even on the calendar because remember, persons out there listening, there is a calendar of Rastafari, high liberation, commemoration, and so many other, important dates to I and I. So as we get the information, we adjust and make sure that we do serve the community at large. Yes,
I was
I.
saying, we are going to bring, hopefully, we come in, we can bring one of the almanac for the station.
Yes, I definitely.
Because it's not just a calendar, it's an almanac.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a distinction between an almanac and a calendar. The calendar doesn't have an almanac, but the almanac have a calendar in it.
Hmm.
They are not one and the same. There's this distinct difference between the two. They are not synonyms.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
There's a
Overstand.
distinction. So we are looking at to bring an almanac that can also have in it a calendar of events at the same time. We say, oh, this is when you plant,
Mm-hmm.
this is when you reap, this is when. So there's so many other things. There's so many historical
So
connotation within Rastafari that
true.
is in the almanac.
So those things are also on the on the almanac fire.
In the almanac, yes, fire. There's a complete, comprehensive something.
Yes, I we love that. We love that. So we liquid farmers.
Farmers, no, we farmers. Yeah.
Dr. V, give thanks, family. It's a vibration. The time is now 1 minute past 9, and again, it's an honor having the eye. And what have really seal up this first in the reasoning, in the groundation, you know what I mean, for today. Seeing again, Dark Foundation also broadcast on a Friday. We want to just inform the individuals as we, kind of seal this up of the Dark Foundation and how we operate and when do we actually have our, groundation, our reasoning with the community at large.
Well, usually Friday night, like from about 10:30 Eastern time until whenever. Cause sometimes we start at 10:30 and at 9 o'clock in the morning we're not done. Depending on the nature of what we are discussing. Tonight, we expect to have some representative from Ethiopia, Africa, that will discuss the coalition between the different mansions within Rastafari that has come together in one accord under the auspices of the Millennium Council to address many of the issues that face Rasta in Ethiopia, in Sashemani in particular, where the government is not really been nice to
Mhm.
Rastafari once again, where individuals find their land being bulldozed down and their property seized and what. We're talking about just now,
Mhm.
we're not talking about the whole time thing. So it's the governance, and it is ironic because a couple of years ago there was the problem because of Eritrea,
Mhm.
and the same government reached out to the Rastafari nation to sing a song, about the importance of Ethiopia.
Mhm.
Ethiopia be free, Ethiopia together, land together, and the Rastafari nation far and wide put almost like a We Are the World initiative for
Mm.
Ethiopia. And to see after all of that, the same governance that received the support system from Rastafari in the sense that we did is now having a retribution against Rastafari. But again, donkey smart narrative, because donkey said the ground no level.
Exactly, exactly.
Mm.
Why? Lightning ball. We give thanks. We give
Yeah,
thanks
so
again.
tonight we have the chairman of the JRDC,
Mhm.
which is a school which is established within Ethiopia for the nations and Rastafari initiative. And that chairman is Stidney Salmon. He will be on board with us tonight. So of course, while we see night, Ethiopia see day, so it will be early morning for him in Ethiopia, where he will share with us some of the demise that we face as a people and some of the obstacles
Mhm.
that we bring into bear with each other, which cause the demise to be as they are.
True.
So that is our topic for tonight. But usually we start out with in the news. Whatever is in the news that we wish to discuss, we'll address it.
Yes.
And when we say in the news that is Rasta-centric, but Afrocentric as well.
Right.
And so we will tell you what's going on in the length of breadth of Africa across the planet. That is self-concerning to us as African. And once the Indian news segment is done, we may have a topic that we choose to reason on, and we will reason on that particular topic until, depending on the energy of the team, we usually don't like about 2 o'clock or so, 1 o'clock, 3 o'clock, but sometime around 9 o'clock in the morning, we on it, and nobody know want to go to bed. Nobody
Yes.
decides, say, well, the topic is so sweet, and we just reason and reason and reason and reason, and like there's no season.
We love it. We love it. Now, in terms of how do ones get in, a link, or how do they get to that
Usually, it's
reasoning?
such a hard thing. I have to go send you a link, and you're going to have to go broadcast. Cause it's a Zoom link that we use. So it's a
Okay.
Zoom link where everybody can full take. It's not just being dictated to, but each person full taking their own clinician, their own vibration. So, for example, just like we are here now, you can hear someone speak. However, you put up your hand, now you ask to be recognized, and the chairman would recognize you and recognize the next person. So, it's an interactive thing,
Mm-hmm.
not just something that one's listen to. So, and that's what we do, because it's the meeting in the square, the village square, where Rastafari meet globally. It's not a United States thing, or it's not a Jamaican thing. Rastafari all over the globe
Yes,
can
I.
come together. But
Yes,
it's
I.
it's Afrocentric though, 'cause we kind of keep it based upon the pigment of the skin that you're in, and
Yes.
you can translate accordingly.
Yes, I. And therefore, again, Dark Foundation is the Diaspora African Rastafari Congress. So
Give
definitely that
thanks.
speaks to it, you know. Thank you, Dr. B. Thank you to the Dark Foundation and its executive members, all also the members, active members of the Dark Foundation who want to give thanks, you know. And of course, just acknowledging many works that you have done so far in Jamaica, you know what I mean, over the years. Most recently, also with the Ashima Bet Foundation, with YAAD Radio itself, with the Count Ozzy tribute, so many other events, even with Martha Day celebration there at Roots House in Montego Bay. So many events and so many, you know, organizations that you have worked with, even in terms of the RMO and the Triple R, in terms of hurricane relief, and so much to speak about. We want to really acknowledge the Dark Foundation, its members, and all individuals who play an active role in the Caribbean here and the diaspora, Africa at large. So we want to give thanks to the I, you know, and the I
Yeah, give
family.
thanks alive and give thanks, as you say, to the membership. I am the mustard seed, just a little specks in the scheme of things, but it's the people generally that allow the things to float.
Yes, I. Yes, I. And we acknowledge that and, you know, even amplify that through what we have here on iYard Radio as the online community radio for the African at home and abroad. Give thanks.
Respect in all aspect fire.
Aziz I.
Pikir in a salam.
Aile. I give thanks again for all those persons who spent time with us today. We just had Dr. B. And listen, this is just the beginning in the family because I have learned so much. You are learning so much. This discussion has left I and I so empowered to do, you know, the works of I and I ancestors, the works of Haile Selassie, the first, you know, going forward. So again, let us start by detoxifying our brain. Let's start with that first, you know, kind of setting a different tone as to how we think, how we interact with each other, how we interact with the earth itself, seeing, so that we can move forward in unity. Simply put, in unity. The ones that might call it unity, but again, we speak from the I and we say unity. So don't feel no way which mansion you want then. I don't feel no way which organization you want then. Just understand that the time is now for us to move in unity, with clarity and in unity. Seeing so much going on today, we're celebrating. However, we're set straight in terms of the days. Seeing, and we say starting from the 3rd, going forward until the 13th. Yeah, when we are talk about Bad Friday, when we are talk about Massacre, when we are talk about Coral Gardens, that is what we need for Ivar. And we'll put it straight forward to the ones them here. Yeah, man, if you never hear it before, you're hearing it first here on iYard Radio. I know Dark Foundation would have those reasoning every strong, but yeah, we'll amplify it here on iYard Radio. We want to give thanks to certain ones like Simba Lion in Germany. Yeah, man, big up yourself, Simba Lion. Seeing, we want to big up the ones them Empress Ishell. Yeah, always a move with dark for him. For tell the ones them in a fire. At the count as a high liberation, the tribute. See, and I did and I observe on certain thing. And me notice a Dark Foundation have a little space. What were they doing in this space again? The Dark Foundation organized themselves where they were able to distribute certain things to the ancients, to the ones them. I even get some of my things them, you know. I tell the I see the works and I say, boy, I have to take care of I goodie too. I get some supplements, some meal supplement and thing and some, you know, really, really heretical, you know, things for sip up. I share it with my brother. We want to big up Carl and the hard one who was there also. Heretical, you know what I mean? I like a brother that. And we just say yes again, the Dark Foundation. Now we know that there are other foundations. We know that there are other organizations out there. We want to big up Osa Siba also recognizing and just doing the works there in Trelawney. So many other mansions out there doing the works. We may just call a few names now, but again, the truth will be told. The lions and the lioness will have that opportunity to tell their side of the story. The truth coming from not the hunter, but the lions and the lioness. Just to fill you in on certain information, we want to use the opportunity to again acknowledge I Nation. Yeah, man, I brother Kirk. He has established what is called the Nation Lounge. This is in Kingston, Jamaica. The Nation Lounge is open from Monday to Saturday, for which, again, it's at 2A Milk Lane, Queensbridge, Spanish Town Road, Western Kingston. And the Nation Lounge normally have their premiere event on a Monday called Inner City Dub. This and every Monday from 7 p.m. until 12 midnight. We want individuals to come through and, all a joy with I and I. This Monday coming, we're honoring the sacred masculine. I am a sure, unconquerable peace. Of course, the reasoning will be by Dr. Kadamawe Knife. Musical presentation by Don Husky, Sudan Edwards, Horace Andy, and Naki Whaler. This is the son of Bunny Whaler, and of course, we're moving into the Bunny Whaler celebration. Of course, on the same night, again, people so much going on, but our Queen Mother Mesani out of Canada, she has her Masani Productions 46th anniversary celebration, and it's also celebrating Masani 68th Earth Day. Wow, what a night, what a night. Again, this is April 6th. So at 6 p.m., the Island Cafe, the Island Coffees Cafe, this is at Ocean Boulevard, downtown Kingston, comes alive. Of course, featuring many artists, including OJ, The Great, Rastakura, many others, with special guest Droop Lion. Yeah, this is Masani Productions' 60th anniversary, also celebrating Masani's 68th Earth Strong. So so this is April 6th at 6 p.m. at the Islands Cafe. This is Ocean Boulevard, downtown Kingston. I want to acknowledge some of the main sponsors for that, being Masani M Radius, or Studio M Radius, sorry, the RMO, Rasta Fest, seeing Masani Production, CRMA, and also what we call YAAD Radio, the online community radio. On April 12th, people, in the midst of the celebration for, or the commemoration of the Bad Friday, we're having a special restoration day. This is hosted by the Pit 4 Nyabingi. At our Pit 4 Nyabingi Center, this is April 12th. I'm asking you to bring all your tools and come forward. Refreshments will be provided, but the item of bring forward them tools, come through and just do some works. No long talking, man, just works. Small actions, big impact. Let's clean, restore, and protect the Pit 4 Nyabingi. This is a special restoration day. See, of course, also the Jamaica, Jamaica Community with Spirit Through the Fire and Art presents Full Circle, the indigenous Jamaica art of tobacco, deep meditation with the support of local plant medicines. This is Saturday, the 11th of April 2026, from 5:30 p.m. until 8 p.m. 8 Miles Bull Bay. Registration required. They're asking you to DM 876 797 3129. This is, of course, an event which they're asking individuals to support with a donation and contribution of $6,000 per person. 10 spaces are available, people, so move fast. Seeing, of course, we'll have individuals like the Cacique, Kalan, Olivia Wilmot, and Ishak Wilmot also. It's a full circle. Again, Saturday the 11th of April 2026 from 5:30 to 8 p.m. Jamnesia Surf Camp. Guided by Cacique, Kalan, and Olivia Wilmot. Pepper pot prepared by Isaac Wilmot of Shacks Seaside at Jamnesia. For more information, registration, call 876 797 3129. As we again enter into the celebration of Bonnie Whaler, the great Honorable Bonnie Whaler. We're starting off on the 9th of April, where the Bonnie Whaler Foundation, in association with the Reggae Studies Institute, presents the second annual Bonnie Whaler Symposium, curated by the Reggae Rituals. Of course, on April 9th, we gather at 6 p.m. at the Neville Hall Lecture Theatre at the UWI Mona campus, where we'll have presentation by Bongo Jerry Small, Carice Lawrence, Dr. Kadamawe Knife, Professor Clinton Hutton, musical presentation by Warrior King, and of course, musically speaking. This event is so heretical, I want to big up the Reggae Rituals, for curating this one. So, musically speaking, presentations will be made by Dottie Bookman and also Dr. Dennis Howard. Yeah, man. Sound and Majesty, celebrating the Black Heart LP 50th and His Majesty Groundation, the 60th in terms of that celebration. So again, it will be moderated by Elaine Wint. So we'll ask the ones them together again for the second annual Bonnie Whaler Symposium, which will be held at the Neville Hall Lecture Theatre. Of course, we want to just thank over and remember the Bonnie Whaler activities. They begin on that date. But of course, on the 10th, we have the Rootsman Skanking. This is the Bonnie Whaler Earth Strong. It's 79th Earth Strong. This is the actual day now, people. And we just spoke to Jabi in terms of the significance of certain days. So again, we want to give thanks to the family for maintaining, the order. And we're saying April 10th, 2026, Rootsman Skanking. Seeing this is an event that will be held at 3 Greenvale Avenue, Kingston 10 off Mullines Road. This is called the Fire Gardens, for those who know the Steam Team headquarters. Seeing we mean Tristan Palm upon it, Chiching Ching, Echo Candy, I artist, I brother, I creative, I musical messenger this time. I brother Samore yeah. Naki Whaler is also on it. Andrew Tosh, Queen Ifrika, I'm a Rastafari, featuring China Smith and the Bingistra. Yeah, man, Melchizedek, Earl China Smith, seeing backing band, the Solomonic Registra. Yeah. Showtime is at 8 p.m. Admission is free, people. Yeah, man. I saw the Bunny Whaler Foundation do them thing, you know. More and big up Naki Whaler. Tomorrow, when we have our broadcast of YAAD live from 3 to 7, we will be interviewing and talking to Naki Whaler. Our whole heap of activities are keeping it. It's sponsored by IRE FM, SR, Steam Team, Bingistra, Dr. Rugo Roots, the Solomonic Records, Ministry of Gender and Culture, and do I dare say humbly, YAAD Radio, as we'll be playing a part. We talk about our ancestors and the works so them a deal with. We kind of ivar ourselves as a cultural curator also. Yeah, man. So the papers are going to come forward if for that, the ones them need for see. But I don't see the way forward as a cultural curator. So again, the celebration start at the 9th. We'll be at the University Mona campus. And then, of course, on the 10th, we're at the Fire Gardens. Yeah? Yeah, man. This is 3 Greenvale Avenue, Kingston 10. And of course, you know done this, so because Dr. Rugo, hey, Dr. Rugo, big up yourself anyway. Then this is the Solomonic Productions and Hosanna, aka Dr. Rugo, the Bunny Whaler Earth Strong Football Competition, dada. Yo, Dr. Rugo, big up yourself. You know, I have to touch base with DI tomorrow in a fire. We're talking about April 11th, 2026. Music by King Tafari, sound one, big up the Sizzla Kalanje Foundation. Saying community fun day. Saying lots of artists. It's the Haile Selassie Park. This is in Painland, family. Hey, Dr. Rugo, big up yourself, you know. Saying the Haile Selassie Park in Painland. Of course, the event is brought to you by Solomonic Productions, Dr. Rugo, and the Painland community. Yeah, man, so many celebrations, so many things going on for this strong. We have to mention them because that's what we do here at YAAD Radio. Now, if you don't hear your event, it's because you probably never sent it to I. But we want to mention the House of Seba. Yes, they are in Trelawney. I remember say Trelawney was hit by the hurricane. You know. We want to big up Ras Jabali out there. You know what I mean? Because Ras Jabali is a one where, you know, him and him family and the whole House of Seba, they have been a ones where really just proactive. No, man, I know about this talking thing, man. It's about doing the work. So the ones them present a thing called Tafari Fridays. Yes, I want to speak of this. Tafari Fridays begins Friday, April 24th. So I want to ring it na the eye them ears and na the eye them iris from now, you know. Mark the date, April 24th, Friday. From 12 noon until 12 midnight, House of Seba's Rastafari sacred space. Yeah, man, Rastafari sacred space. House of Seba's Rastafari sacred space. So one wants them identify the name of that area, that community, that sacred space. It's known as the House of Seba's Rastafari sacred space. So they have the Tafari Fridays event, musical juggling by Melchizedek Order, the Rastafari face-to-face reasoning and workshop from 12 midday until 2 p.m. Different guest artists each strong. Vendors, of course, are invited to come and set up a table. Prizes and giveaways, nuff, car. I saw also see by them deal with them thing. Yeah, man. They care and share with the community. VIP sacred space era with all inclusive sacramental ganja, fruits, and ital sip. Of course, only $1,000 to contribute to that VIP era. What a thing, eh? Also, Siba again, doing it. Presenting to you a VIP sacred space, a era with all inclusive sacramental ganja, fruits, and ital sip. Wow. Again, join I and I this Friday, April 24th, for a full day of sound, reasoning, and upliftment inside the sacred space. The House of Seba's Rastafari sacred space from 12 noon until 12 midnight. Again, featuring music by the Melchizedek Order. Rastafari face-to-face reasoning and workshop at 12 p.m. in the day. Guest artists. Remember, all vendors with Rastafari indigenous created items are welcome. Prizes and giveaway. Yeah, man. All proceeds go towards rebuilding I place of worship. Forward out, bring the energy and reasoning in righteousness. One love, one faith, one order coming from the Rastafari. House of Seba's sacramental space in Trelawney. I give thanks for the high time and the high energies for all the ones them out there. We know a lot is going on. Look out for the Charlestown conference in June. The date is 18th of June. Moving forward, want them just note those events, note those spaces as we celebrate and carry on the work of our indigenous people. We are not here just by just a whim. Remember, we are here to carry on the works of the ancestors. We actually stand on the shoulders of our ancestors. Yes, I. Remember also April 18th, Ayata Evolution. This is an event that is all female. Ayata Evolution, April 18th. Rivermaid Lawn on the Yalas River in St. Thomas. Stay tuned to YAAD Radio on YouTube as we provide information on all those events going forward. Sister Isis, big up yourself. Sister Mitzi, Sister Colleen, all of the ones, them, all the sisters within Rastafari doing the works out there. The RMO, the executives. So many names to call. So many individuals. Sister Nanny, wow, what a wonderful event today, man. Want to big up the Coral Gardens Benevolent Society. Hey, so many things to be said. I am Breadlocks, the article Dreadlocks. This is YAAD Radio, the online community radio. Join us for a slew of programs. Yeah, man, this, hey, watch out in YAAD Radio coming right at you, people. Not only on Saturday we'll be broadcasting, but look out, we're coming to you with live programs almost every day, like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Yeah, Saturday. Hey, want big up Mama G, the gaman, I Mama. Yes, Mama say. Want big up Bongo Jerry Small. So many more to be announced, people. Just look forward to I Radio. I Yard Radio. Support Yard Radio, the online community radio. PayPal. You can PayPal me at paypal.me/iYardRadio. Check out iYardRadio.com. Find out more about us. Look out. The iBooks. Yeah, man, iBooks will be available very, very soon. Our educational resources that speaks to the inner eye, esoterically speaking, on iYAADradio.com. But please visit our website and also subscribe to us on YouTube, on IG. Yeah, and that's our thing there on Facebook at iYAAD Radio. Give thanks again for joining us for today's broadcast. Share the link, share the vibes, share the energy. Dr. B, the Dark Foundation, give thanks for today's broadcast. It is a partnership between iYAAD Radio and the Dark Foundation, the Diaspora African Rastafari Congress. Dark Eye